It moves at 216,000 kilometers an hour. It is older than the solar system. It changes direction as if remotely controlled. And then a Mars orbiter captured a clear image of it. 3I Atlas. What the hell is it really? While the world is still arguing whether 3I Atlas is an ancient comet or alien technology, an unprecedented, shocking event occurred. China's Tianwen-1 orbiter, currently in Mars orbit, directly photographed 3I Atlas from a distance of 30 million kilometers. This is the first time in history that humanity has recorded an image of an interstellar object not from Earth, but from another planet. The high-resolution image reveals a bright nucleus, about 6 kilometers in size, 2 tails longer than 2.3 million kilometers, and powerful jets strongly interacting with the solar wind, signs of an extremely complex active structure. But this is just the beginning. Analysis from Meerkat detected OH molecules, while spectroscopy showed extremely high CO2 and traces of nickel, like remnants from a star system older than the Sun. And most importantly, 3I Atlas exhibits non-gravitational acceleration, moving as if it has an invisible engine. So what exactly is 3I Atlas? A primordial specimen or evidence of intelligence from beyond the Milky Way? This is the dossier you cannot ignore.
Amid the endless darkness, it is not a comet. It is not an asteroid. It is 3I Atlas, an uninvited guest hurtling into the solar system at a brutal velocity, 60 kilometers per second. This terrifying speed tears through every rule, proving it comes from the deepest reaches beyond the Milky Way. The latest 8K enhanced image of the interstellar comet 3I Atlas reveals a complex structure consisting of a bright nucleus approximately 6 kilometers in diameter, a multi-layered dust cloud, and 2 tails extending over 2.3 million kilometers. Spectral analysis records strong emissions of carbon dimer, cyanogen radical, and sodium, indicating high-energy sublimation activity. Jet streams and curved tails suggest intense interaction with the solar wind. Compared to 2I Borisov, 3I Atlas has a denser coma and richer carbon composition, possibly an extragalactic comet. It is expected to brighten as it approaches Earth's orbit in December 2025. Chemical mystery and hidden thrust, but speed is only the beginning. As data floods in, the scientific community is shaken. 3I Atlas carries an unprecedented chemical mixture with extreme carbon dioxide gas ratios and traces of nickel vapor, like a relic from an ancient star system older than the Sun. More crucially, it alters its orbit as if an unidentified thrust is controlling it. This is something that should not exist under the physics we know. Historic triumph. The world has responded. Amid the fierce debate, Professor A.V. Loeb calls it an extraterrestrial probe. Humanity has achieved a cosmic milestone. China's Tianwen-1 orbiter turned its camera away from Mars to directly image 3I Atlas at 30 million kilometers. This is the first time we have captured an interstellar object from the orbit of another planet. The latest data, including radio signals from South Africa, has turned 3I Atlas into the largest laboratory in history. Is it a pristine primordial sample or technological debris from aliens? This is the story of an unimaginable journey, the limits of science, and evidence that, in the infinite void, we are not alone. Join us to decode the truth behind the 3I Atlas file.
Amid the endless darkness of the universe, there are strange visitors wandering that belong nowhere at all. It drifts silently across hundreds of millions of light years, and sometimes it will pay a visit to our Earth. The interstellar object 3I Atlas, with the official designation C-2025N1 Atlas, was first discovered on July 1, 2025. The initial discovery site was carried out by the facility of the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, ATLAS, located in Rio Hurtado, Chile. With an extremely high speed, approximately 5760 kilometers per second, equivalent to 216,000 kilometers per hour. This speed is clear evidence that it comes from outside the solar system. It follows an orbit that is too steep, too clean, no twisting, no deviation, no influence from any planet. An almost perfect straight line plunging into the solar system, then leaving forever. Before Atlas, we had welcomed 2 visitors. In 2017, Oumuamua, the first object to come from interstellar space, shaped like an elongated metallic rock.
2 years later, Borisov, a classic comet carrying the cold breath from the deep, far reaches of the Milky Way. And now, here is the appearance of 3I Atlas, the third one. And 3I Atlas is a completely different story. When the data was analyzed, something strange emerged. The orbit of 3I Atlas is not closed, meaning it only glides through and then leaves forever. Not retained, not falling into any orbit. A solitary traveler from a place no one knows. 3I Atlas has been widely observed. It was imaged by the Hubble Space Telescope on July 21, 2025. More importantly, China's Tianwen-1 spacecraft successfully photographed 3I Atlas from Mars orbit in early October 2025. These images clearly show the characteristics of a comet. Ground-based observatories, such as the RN Naves Observatory in Spain, also imaged the object in early November 2025. What makes it move in that direction? Where does it come from? And more importantly, why is it here? Some believe that 3I Atlas is just an ancient icy rock. But others say it is something else, a message, or even a dead ship drifting among the stars across millions of light years. What is it? A lost piece of ice? Or a message from a distant civilization? Let's find out together right now.
Right after discovery of 3I Atlas, observatories around the world simultaneously turned their lenses toward it. From Hawaii to South Africa, from Chile to Spain, all wanted to get a clear look at this mysterious visitor. But time was not on their side. 3I Atlas was moving too fast. In just a few days, it had crossed Earth's orbit, skimmed past the sun, and vanished on the other side of the solar system. A journey that lasted only a few weeks, but was enough to turn the astronomy community upside down. 3I Atlas was moving too fast, yet its observation campaign stretched over many months, not just a few weeks. It passed the sun in late October 2025 and continued to be tracked as it exited the solar system. When scientists reconstructed its path, they realized that 3I Atlas entered the solar system from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, the Archer, not from Lyra, as some had speculated. Nevertheless, the object still carries with it a history of billions of years of interstellar travel. When analyzing its light, the research team found that the object reflected light like a comet, with a mixture of water ice, carbon dioxide, and organic material. Although some intriguing observations showed signs of nickel gas in the surrounding gas cloud, the majority of the scientific community agrees that it is an active icy comet. However, the motion of 3I Atlas has made the scientific debate intense. Researchers noticed that 3I Atlas's orbit shows signs of non-gravitational acceleration. This is a natural phenomenon caused by outgassing from ice as the comet approaches the sun. But some scientists, led by Harvard professor Avi Loeb, have speculated that this orbit may be too precise, as if it had its own propulsion engine. Immediately, the astronomy community split into two camps. One side, represented by Professor Karen Meach, insists this is merely a natural phenomenon, albeit a comet with unique chemical composition. The other side, represented by Professor Avi Loeb, believes 3I Atlas could be an artificial object, possibly a survey program or technological debris from a vanished civilization. Whether comet or technology, 3I Atlas has traveled through dead regions of space for millions of years. Its existence is proof that interstellar space is not empty, but filled with silent, terrifyingly persistent messengers. Remember that in 2017, Oumuamua left both NASA and Harvard baffled. Elongated shape, flying too fast, unusual light reflection, no cometary tail. Some scientists, including Harvard's Avi Loeb, asserted this could be technological debris from another civilization. Some researchers even hypothesized that there may exist a stream of interstellar objects ejected from the same region in the Milky Way, like debris from an ancient star system, or worse, a survey program sent by another civilization. Just imagine, if millions of years ago some civilization had sent thousands of such objects into the universe, slowly drifting through star systems collecting information, then now we are only just beginning to detect 3 out of those thousands of messengers. To reach here, 3I Atlas had to cross dead regions of space where the temperature is near absolute zero. It has flown millions of light years without deviating, without stopping. Whether rock, ice, or metal, it still endures. A silent traveler, terrifyingly persistent. After 3I Atlas left the favorable observation zone, astronomers began the hunt for any remaining data scraps. Every ray of light, every measurement, every frame, all checked and rechecked hundreds of times, but the results only left them more baffled than ever. This object didn't match any recorded model of a comet or asteroid. It moved too smoothly, reflected light too evenly, but disintegrated abnormally, something that was completely unbound by ordinary physics. And so from those tiny scraps of data, a slew of hypotheses were born. Some sound reasonable, but others send chills down the spine. The first hypothesis suggests that 3I Atlas is the remnant of an ancient comet once shattered by extreme heat when approaching a strange star. According to the research team at the
the University of Hawaii, its structure and orbit closely resemble a comet, but the way it broke apart before reaching perihelion was entirely unusual. That suggests 3I Atlas had a weakened structure beforehand, possibly from a collision, were damaged by cosmic radiation over millions of years of travel. If true, 3I Atlas is a silent witness to time, a chunk of ice drifting through space, torn apart but still managing to leave traces as it passed by our place. And then, there's the hypothesis that rocked the world. 3I Atlas could be an artificial object. A team of researchers led by Avi Loeb, Harvard professor, pointed out that the light reflection from 3I Atlas was too even, too bright like the surface of an icy comet with extreme chemical properties, such as a high CO2 to H2O ratio. Not only that, its direction of motion seemed unaffected by gravity as normal. It changed speed gently as if propelled by its own drive. That drive, according to Loeb, could be starlight. If 3I Atlas is a solar sail, a light energy sail, it could move without fuel, a technology that humanity has only dared to experiment with, a metallic sail sailing to the universe for millions of years carrying a message, data, or simply evidence of a vanished civilization. If that's really the case, then 3I Atlas isn't just the third object, but the third message. Like Oumuamua in 2017, like Borisov in 2019, 3 objects, 3 directions, 3 different times, but their orbits nearly parallel. Coincidence? Or an overlooked clue? Some researchers believe that objects like Oumuamua, Borisov, and 3I Atlas could be part of an automated network sent out millions of years ago to probe the universe. Just like how humans are sending Voyager probes into space, another civilization might have dispatched thousands of such messengers. After millions of years, a few of them drift through our solar system, leaving traces that we're just advanced enough to detect. If that's true, then 3I Atlas is the hello that the universe is sending us. Not in sound, not in light, but in silent presence. But there's something strange. All 3 interstellar objects humanity has ever seen were discovered in just 7 years. Before that, thousands of years, no one ever spotted one. Is this random, or is something happening? Some observers say that our own technology, the more modern telescopes, is opening the door to things once hidden, but others say the universe is responding. What do you think about this? Let us know your thoughts right now in the comments below. 3 visitors, 3 traces, 3 unsolved mysteries. And perhaps 3I Atlas is just the beginning of something much bigger.
Unusual trajectory of this object offers the possibility that it might have been designed so as to have some goals of a reconnaissance mission. Think about driving your car. In 1 hour, you traverse a distance that this object is traversing in 1 second. The trajectory of this object is very peculiar. It actually lies in the orbital plane of the planets around the sun, within 5 degrees or so. And that is a coincidence that has a chance of 0.2%.
It's irresponsible science. This is just coincidence, the path that it comes through the solar system. There's a perfectly natural explanation for this. It is behaving like a regular comet. And a comet is just one of these primordial building blocks of planets made of dust and ice. And when it gets closer to the sunlight warms up the ice, and then it goes directly from a solid to a gas and pushes the dust off. So this looks just like a normal comet. It's developing a little tail. It's getting brighter as it gets closer to the sun. We know a few things about it, but everyone's intensively studying it with the hope that we get the final size of the body, and especially the chemistry, because that's what gives us a really good look at the processes going on elsewhere. Well, there's millions of things moving around in our solar system, and the surveys like Atlas and Pan-STARRS and Catalina are surveying the sky every night and a lot of them are funded to look for things that could potentially be hazardous to Earth. And so they are designed to find faint things moving amongst the stars. Once it's close enough to the sun and Earth and big enough to reflect enough light that we can see it, it just becomes another speck of light that's moving among the stars. And then, they're discovering a lot of these every night. It was becoming interesting once you trace the orbit to something that's from outside the solar system. Because we're never going to be able to, in our lifetimes, travel to another solar system and do the science we'd like to do, but instead they're conveniently sending us chunks from their early birth process close enough that we can study them. And
According to the China National Space Administration, CNSA, the orbiter from the Tianwen Mars mission has successfully captured images of the interstellar object 3I Atlas using a high-resolution camera. 3I Atlas was discovered on July 1, 2025 by a survey telescope located in Chile. It is the third interstellar object ever detected entering the solar system and the first interstellar object recorded by a Chinese spacecraft. During the observation, the Tianwen spacecraft was approximately 30 million kilometers from 3I Atlas, marking one of the closest approaches to this object by a probe. Scientists believe 3I Atlas may have formed around ancient stars near the center of the Milky Way, with an estimated age of 3 to 11 billion years, potentially older than the solar system itself. As a result, the object is considered a valuable sample for studying the composition and evolutionary processes of exoplanets as well as the early history of star formation. Tianwen, China's first Mars mission, is equipped with an optical system originally designed to image bright regions on the planet's surface. Capturing a dim and distant object with brightness 10,000 to 100,000 times lower than typical Martian targets represents a new observational effort for the mission.
Because 3I Atlas follows a hyperbolic orbit, unlike the elliptical orbits of objects around the Sun, it clearly originates from beyond the solar system and will eventually move away from it.
Data received and processed by the ground application system shows comet-like features clearly appearing in the images. The research team created an animation from a sequence of images captured over approximately 30 seconds, depicting the motion of 3I Atlas in space. These observation results are currently being used to support further scientific studies on this interstellar object.
From Oct 1st to 4th, Tianwen-1 captured images each day and sent the data back to the ground. Using these consecutive images, we were able to create an animation that effectively shows its I3 Atlas flight path.
According to CNSA, this successful observation is an important part of the extended mission phase of Tianwen-1. Detecting such a faint celestial body is also considered a useful technical test for the Tianwen-2 mission launched in May, with the goal of collecting samples from a near-Earth asteroid and surveying a main belt comet.
The successful observation proves the long-term reliability of our orbiter. Tianwen-2 probe will also explore small, faint celestial objects, and we hope to build on this experience to test technology and accumulate expertise for future deep space missions.
According to CNSA, the Tianwen-1 team began preparing for the observation activity from early September. After multiple simulations and feasibility assessments, the team decided to use the high-resolution camera on the orbiter and develop an optimal imaging strategy, thereby achieving successful observation results. Tianwen-1 consists of an orbiter, lander, and rover launched in July 2020. The spacecraft entered Mars orbit in February 2021 and has been operating stably for approximately 4 years and 8 months.
The other unusual fact about its trajectory is that it comes very close to the inner planets other than Earth, like Jupiter, Mars, or Venus. And the chance of that happening, given the trajectory, one can change the arrival time of this object, and only in 1 in 20,000 cases you end up with such a close proximity to the planets, because they orbit around the sun, and the chance of being so close to them is very small. But we are a relatively young technological civilization, and one can imagine a more advanced civilization having an agenda, some goals that are long-term in interstellar space, and therefore we might find probes that are still functional and are entering the solar system with a purpose. And the question is, what is that purpose? We often talk about existential threats from artificial intelligence, from global climate change, from an asteroid impacting the Earth, and we don't talk about the possibility of alien tech. And now that we are detecting interstellar objects, and in fact the Rubin Observatory in Chile that was just inaugurated in June 2025 is expected to find a new interstellar object every few months. We should check whether each and every one of them is natural, a rock or an icy rock, the kind of objects we see in the solar system. And I suggest establishing a scale similar to the Richter scale that warns us about the risk from earthquakes. A 0 would mean that it's definitely a comet, a natural object. We can see the cometary tail. A 10 would be an object that maneuvers and shows evidence for propulsion by an engine. And so it's possible that it's a comet, but if that's the case, it will become very clear as it comes closer to the sun and gets heated so that its evaporation rate gets much larger. And then the glow of dust and gas around it should be apparent.
3I Atlas passed its perihelion, closest point to the Sun, at the end of October 2025. Because its orbit is hyperbolic, it is now on its way out of the solar system forever, heading toward the cold, dark region beyond Neptune into interstellar space. Although it has become harder to observe from Earth after passing the Sun, astronomers are still continuing to track it. It is expected to make its closest approach to Earth on December 19, 2025, at a safe distance. China's Tianwen-1 Mars orbiter successfully captured images of 3I Atlas between October 1 and 4, 2025, when the object was approximately 30 million kilometers away. This is a remarkable achievement in observing an interstellar object from the orbit of another planet. That object may have been flying for millions of years to reach here, and in just a few short weeks, it glides past, leaving behind countless questions that we tiny creatures on the blue planet still cannot answer. For scientists, 3I Atlas is a rare opportunity, a piece of the immense cosmic puzzle that humanity has only glimpsed the edges of. But for astronomy enthusiasts, it is more than that, a reminder that out there, thousands of other objects may still be drifting, carrying stories no one yet knows. Since the discovery of Oumuamua in 2017, then Borisov, and now Atlas, we have entered a new era, an era where humanity is no longer just observing the universe, but beginning to be observed back by the universe. 3 interstellar objects, 3 uninvited guests. We often look up at the night sky and wonder, is someone looking back at us? Perhaps the answer has arrived, not in radio waves, but in a small object silently crossing the sky. The universe doesn't send letters or make calls, but occasionally it dispatches material signals, travelers from afar bearing secrets of billions of years of history. And perhaps 3I Atlas is one of those signals, a material letter from the universe to us, a reminder that in the solitary journey through endless space, our tiny blue planet is not alone, is it? On every dark night, when you look up at the sky and see a streak of light flash by, remember that it may not just be a shooting star. It could be an object traveling through millions of light years, and in that moment it is visiting our world. 3I Atlas is just one of countless objects drifting through the universe. Perhaps they are merely cold rocks, but they could also be traces of intelligence, evidence that life exists not just here. The universe is no longer a cold void, but a book unfolding page by page, and 3I Atlas may be one of the first lines of text. Although very small, the possibility that those hypotheses could still occur has a probability.
Three I Atlas has now completed its close approach to the Sun and is gradually drifting into the cold, dark region beyond Neptune, leaving behind a rich trove of data and countless unanswered questions. Contrary to speculation about complete disappearance, the object is still being continuously tracked and has not been lost. The clearest evidence of human observational capability comes from space. In early October 2025, China's Tianwen-1 orbiter successfully captured detailed images of 3I Atlas from Mars orbit when the object was approximately 30 million kilometers away.
These images clearly show the comet-like features of the object. The Meerkat radio telescope in South Africa also detected signals from OH, oxygen and hydrogen molecules, confirming its outgassing activity and ruling out the possibility that it is an inert rock. For the scientific community, 3I Atlas is an extremely valuable piece of the interstellar object puzzle. It carries unique chemical composition and is considered a rare sample from another star system, helping to retest what was thought to be certain about gravity, orbits, and the nature of interstellar space. Whether an ancient icy rock or a trace of intelligence, 3I Atlas is a powerful reminder that interstellar space is not empty. It is a material letter sent to us, evidence of the diversity of matter in galactic history. The remaining question belongs to us. Will we continue to look up at the sky, or will we actively invest in science and space missions to decode these cosmic messages? If you believe 3I Atlas is not the final story, keep following, share this video, leave your thoughts on its true origin, and together prepare for the next interstellar visitor.